Right now, the global tea industry is at a breaking point. And this isn't just about the price of your morning cup. We're talking about a great filtering, a time of intense economic pressure where old traditions are colliding with some brutal new realities. The ultimatum is simple: adapt or get left behind.
Look at this number. That's not a typo, and it's not a forecast. Negative 330%. That's the actual operating margin for many traditional tea estates today. It's a death spiral, plain and simple, and it's forcing a massive economic reckoning that's happening as we speak.
So how on earth did it get this bad? Well, to really get it, we first have to look inside the estates themselves, because that's where the storm really started brewing.
Here's the brutal truth. For a traditional tea estate, direct labor now makes up a staggering 2/3 of all operating costs. Think about that. It's the one single factor that's systematically squeezing margins down to zero and way, way below. But labor is just the start. There's a whole other set of books here, a hidden ledger of costs that are absolutely spiraling. Decades of chemical use have led to soil fatigue, which is basically a 6 billion rupee time bomb just waiting to go off. And at the same time, logistics and shipping, they've gone from just another line item to a primary cost, eating up to half of all revenue for some exporters.
So, with costs spiraling out of control internally, an external force is now tightening the vice. A geopolitical storm is gathering, and it's about to make landfall right in the middle of the tea fields. The main shockwave is coming from the United States, which has threatened a potential 25% tariff. But here's the thing, the real danger isn't the tariff itself. It's who the tariff is targeting.
This policy is aimed squarely at any nation that has commercial dealings with Iran. A political decision made thousands of miles away is about to send shockwaves through the tea industry, particularly in places like Sri Lanka. And here's how the chain reaction works. The tariff isn't directly on tea. Nope. The U.S. is threatening Sri Lanka's apparel industry, which is a huge deal, making up nearly 70% of its exports to America. It's a massive point of leverage. And here is where it all comes together. See, Sri Lanka has this tea for oil barter system with Iran to settle old debts. This one trade deal puts its most famous export, Ceylon tea, directly in the crosshairs, making it the unintended but very real victim of this whole geopolitical squeeze.
And as if the political pressure wasn't enough, there's the atmospheric pressure. The impacts of climate change are no longer some distant threat. They're hitting hard right now. Less rainfall is slashing yields, and intense heat is literally degrading the chemical compounds that give premium tea its quality. It's having a chilling effect on an already overheated market.
This all brings us to the core question, doesn't it? With internal costs exploding and external pressures coming from every direction, where is the way out? Because it's clear the old way of just growing more of the same, well, that road is a dead end. Okay, this is where the story pivots. We've laid out the crisis. Now let's talk strategy. We're going to look at the essential levers for survival, the strategic moves that will separate the winners from the losers in this great filtering. The most direct path to staying afloat is what we call the value-added uplift. Just look at these numbers. Moving from selling bulk tea as a raw commodity to creating a branded specialty product, it completely changes the entire economic equation.
Let's be perfectly clear about what we're seeing here. We're talking about a potential 300% price premium. That's the difference between just scraping by and actually building a thriving business. It is the single most powerful financial lever these producers can pull right now.
But this has to be paired with real innovation on the ground. Estates are now using AI to get smarter about things like fertilization, cutting waste, and boosting yields. They're turning to regenerative agriculture to heal the soil, which not only improves the tea, but can also generate valuable carbon credits. And they're getting creative, turning old bungalows into luxury tourist spots, creating entirely new revenue streams out of thin air.
So what does all this mean for the next 5 years or so? This is our forecast for the great filtering. It's about who makes it through and who doesn't.
There are 3 critical levers that will determine who makes it to 2030. Number 1, you have to drive yield efficiency. 2, you have to build direct-to-consumer channels to get around those massive wholesale fees. And 3, you absolutely have to invest in climate resilience. Now, if you're looking for the full data sets behind these shifts, we've actually opened a free public research bank, and our first report on this sector is out now. Check it out in the description below.
And just to show you how huge that first challenge is, look at this gap. The small bar on the left, that's the struggling average right now. The tall bar on the right, that's the target needed just to be viable. This isn't a small tweak, it's a complete business transformation.
And that brings us right back to where we started. This period we're entering, it's not just another business cycle. It is a great filtering, where the choices made today will directly decide who is even around to see 2030.
So, the final question is this. Will the industry make the tough choices required to adapt and cultivate a new future, one built on value and innovation? Or will large parts of it simply be filtered out, overwhelmed by the storm, and left behind as a relic of a past era? That choice is being made right now.